Chennai Super Kings have reviewed their decision. It is 232 for 4. And MS Dhoni has come on strike. I'm just looking at my phone because I want to see. Ooh, it is a no ball.
It is.
That's a free hit.
And get ready because something's about to trend. Something's about to trend
Bonus for all the MS fans.
on social media.
What's about to
Dhoni
trend?
review system.
But
Yeah.
So it's a free hit.
So I was watching. Before Dhoni came out, it was 1.8 CR.
what must be 1.92?
They don't show 2. It's 1.9.
Oh.
Now though it was not.
It was legit.
This was legit. By the way, the bat you see in his hand,
Yeah.
did a video on that.
Yes. 1.180 grams.
No.
How much was it?
1220.
Wow.
1220 grams.
1220.
Heavy bat.
Oh, 80 I think was Jadeja's.
170, 180,
180.
something like that. Yeah. 170. No, 170 I think, or 150, I can't remember. No, Sky was 150 if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, last ball coming up.
Oh,
Very well bowled by Kejrolia. 2 runs that CSK have taken. I did not touch the 2 CR mark, which I was so waiting for. 1.9, but did not touch 2 CR. Anyway, 235 is what CSK have managed in their 20 overs. MS Dhoni gave
Way
a
too
small
many
little treat to his fans at Eden Gardens. By the way, we'll talk about it later. Eden Gardens, just giving you a teaser. Eden Gardens is up in arms. They're upset that a local team has got less support than the visiting team. So the whole stadium is yellow, and the quintessential Bengali Bhadralok, a lot of them are my friends, they are very upset. They are such hardcore KKR or local vociferous supporters that they are very unhappy that they are seeing this. So they are looking for reasons why this is happening. Somebody is blaming the owner, somebody is blaming the team franchise, somebody is saying no, MS does this. There's a major debate happening on social media, which I was seeing, between all the good Bengalis. We'll get to that later.
But our dear Bengali friend, you know what he said yesterday? He said, I'll join you guys post-match only if
He's half Bengali, I think, है ना?
Yeah, he is.
But I'd like to ask Shane if he's watching. Are you okay?
He is watching. He said, I will join.
Of course he'll be watching.
But only if you win.
But is he okay is the question after.
No, I'm
This
sure he
carnage.
expected. I'm sure he expected this. By the way, not just him. Please refresh the memory of our subscribers who are watching us live with everyone's score predictions, please.
Mine was 189.
190.
I don't remember. But it
200
was
something you said. No, you said 175 I believe.
185 maybe. I don't know.
170, 185.
You said?
I had said 200.
Okay.
Which is also 35 runs off.
Yes.
35. And that's like massive. The rest though who didn't even reach 200, though I don't even want to ask the difference. That's how far off everyone was. But what a batting display by Chennai Super Kings. Ajinkya Rahane and Shivam Dube, 2 stars. They batted so well that they've even overshadowed someone like a Devon Conway who's got his 3rd consecutive 50 in the IPL, but completely overshadowed. Like I won't even remember this. Ruturaj Gaikwad, who we thought at one point we'll be discussing what a great start, completely forgotten. Because what Rahane and Dube did in those middle overs, oh my, 235.
I mean, there was a period in which we saw 4 consecutive sixes and a boundary.
Yes.
2 in the previous over, 2 that Rahane hit of Umesh
We're
Yadav.
talking about 16th and the 17th over.
Yeah.
21 or 22.
22 runs that Umesh Yadav conceded.
Yes.
But as many people pointed out, not just those 2 sixes, the cover drive that Rahane unleashed on Umesh Yadav, that was the...
2, I think.
Yeah, 2. too.
There was a lap shot there.
Lap shot.
Then I don't know how you define that shot when he just played it over the
Yeah.
short
I
third
don't know what do
man.
you call it.
What would you call it?
The
jinx
scoop
scoop.
or whatever, the scoop something.
The jinx scoop.
Yeah. Name it after Ajinkya Rahane now because
jinx
what
scoop.
did he do?
And he made it into perfection. The bat didn't move a single bit in his hand. Or it was just guided, like opened the face of it and just guided it. That's the sign of a man in form. And shades of Surya Kumar Yadav in Ajinkya Rahane.
I mean, who's got the fastest 50 of IPL 2023? It's that individual right there. That knock against the Mumbai Indians, which Rahane played, it was out of this world.
Joint fastest, no?
No, in this season, I'm saying.
Yeah, the 15 ball was Puran also.
Puran.
Yeah,
Puran.
so his was also 15. So joint fastest.
Joint fastest. But today, 71 of 29. Look at the shots that he was playing. Not just the innovation, but that old school magic of Ajinkya Rahane. That was the difference.
24 balls is all it took him to get to his 50. He continued the acceleration. He didn't stop after that. And Shivam Dube was only getting inspired at the other end. He reached his 15-20 balls.
And what's even more special is it wasn't as if the KKR bowlers were bowling badly. It was just Ajinkya Rahane was in some other level of, I don't know, mental state or something. What was he thinking? You'd be surprised.
Thought that every ball that he was hitting, he was finding a boundary, and he was actually playing to gaps. So one thing is identifying gaps, the other is to be able to hit the ball in those gaps. And again, so that's in a way premeditated because you are looking for that gap, but you have no control over where the bowler is going to be bowling, and yet you find a way, as he showed with that jinx scoop, as you guys are calling it, that no matter where the ball was, he was hell-bent on finding that gap. A lot of coaches would tell you never be predetermined in your shots that you're going to play. I think new age batting is completely changing that. Today, I agree he was in a zone because, you know, if you get to, like, I'm used to seeing 16-20 runs scored at a strike rate of 250. It is possible because those are cameos. You come down the order and you play those cameos and you get those runs. But to get 71 runs at a 250-ish strike rate, absolutely bonkers. And this is, I mean, I'm also a big fan of Ajinkya Rahane, but even if you're the staunchest supporter or the biggest fan of Ajinkya Rahane, I'm sure you never saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming of Ajinkya Rahane. Yes, if you really believed in him, you would have hoped that, okay, one day, or he's putting in the hard yards, he can make an IPL comeback. He will come. He may still give you a season or two like he gave when he was with Rajasthan Royals. He would open, get you those 50s at a strike rate of 130, 140, set up the games, set up the base. That's the best anyone could have ever thought, even if it's the best well-wisher of Ajinkya Rahane, would have thought that this was possible. Like him getting those 50 of 30, 35 balls sort of, or 40 ball 50 and setting up the base for the team, which he's capable of. He's done it before. I don't think anyone saw this Andre Russell sort of version of Ajinkya Rahane coming because quite frankly, that's how he's been playing.
It was Andre Russell going by the strike rate, but not according to stroke play. Andre Russell gets to his 50s with sheer brute power. This was just timing at its very best. He wasn't, the bowlers would butchered, I would say. A Russell or a Pollard would come butcher the bowlers all over the place. But this was smart batting, timing at the very best, classic stroke play, beautiful to watch.
You know what was the main factor in Ajinkya Rahane's innings today? Kolkata have got some spinners in the form of Suyash Sharma, Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narain. Normally we have associated the Rahane of the past to be slightly vulnerable to spin. Today he wasn't. Every time he stepped out, look at the sixes, he hit straight down the ground. Got to the pitch of the ball and deposited. He didn't mistime it. Middled it and went way back into the stands. That gives an indication that Rahane is in that zone where no bowler can face him. Spin, look at the way how he tackled spin today. It was fantastic.
And spin has been his Achilles heel in the past.
Very surprisingly it has been his Achilles heel. But today, I mean, the way how he started, look at all the strokes. Pick up, the ramp, the cover drive, the lofted shot, everything was bang in the middle.
I think what he was doing brilliantly today, apart from timing it, of course, is picking up the length perfectly.
Yeah.
because like I said, the bowlers weren't bowling a bad ball. It was just going out of the park purely on Rahane's brilliance.
And you could see the difference. I mean, again, Shivam Dube was matching him stroke to stroke, both going at that almost a similar strike rate. He getting his 50-71, but I think there was a big difference between the two. Though again, Shivam Dube also no comparison, but kind of reminds you of Yuvraj Singh. I'm not comparing him to where Yuvraj was, but I'm saying because of that height, left-hander, and the style of his arch, the way it comes down, reminds you. But even with Shivam Dube, he mistimed a few. There were few deliveries to the spinners where he either played and missed. I remember Suyash Sharma, he tried to play and miss.
Twice.
Some of those shots which you thought he could have, he mistimed them, but because Eden Garden, remember, is a smaller ground, especially the straight boundaries are short, so that cleared. But in Ajinkya Rahane's case, I can't remember a single stroke where you thought, oh, that's an iffy one, or he got lucky, or a short boundary, or he played and miss, no problem, but he'll get better. I don't think there was any stage like that. So, which is why I say, I mean, if you have to pick up a flawless inning this IPL, not necessarily the biggest, because there have been a few hundreds, this could be that flawless inning. Outstanding.
I mean, everything clicked for CSK today with the bat. Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the base that Rituraj and Devon Conway said, okay, Conway did slow down slightly when he was nearing his 50. He did slow down a bit.
Has Simon Dole just put something in all our heads? Are we now going to be looking batsmen closely now when they're approaching their 50? I don't know if Conway gave that impression today.
No, he did slow down a bit, I'm saying. He didn't slow down totally.
But I think he's right where he says that ever since Simon Dole has passed that comment and it was discussed because he was speaking about someone like a Virat Kohli, now I see this chatter a lot. Suddenly, in every game, anytime that a batsman's strike rate is dropping after starting off much more aggressively, then it is like, oh, he's reaching a milestone, so he's conscious. Whereas I don't know whether we can just absolutely attribute it to that, or whether different conditions you demand you to play differently. I don't know.
In the case of Simon Dole, what happened was that, the milestone thing was wrong. The strike rate against spin was a bigger issue.
No, I agree
But he
that
never
was
raised that.
wrong. No, I agree with that was wrong. But I'm saying he's put a thought in the minds, right? So now every time it's happening, people are talking about that. Yeah, that's the only thing.
I think right now, even if let's say somebody gets to from 47 to 50 in, or let's say 45 to 50 in just singles, let's say, or singles, doubles. Now it's going to be looked at differently now that that thought's been floated around. Because otherwise, if a batsman who was aggressive, let's say all along, got to his 45, let's say just dealing in mountain, a couple of quick doubles and singles here and there, and then suddenly if he takes about just singles and doubles to get to his 50, how would you then be looking at it?
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, there's no complaints though. I mean, he and Rituraj set up the platform so brilliantly.
Absolutely.
And that is the reason why Rahane and Dube just had the license to go for it. Just had the license.
Okay, we'll take a few super chats coming our way before the next team comes out to bat. SP Roy says, what captaincy, Ranaji? Remember, for those of you who don't know, that Roy SP is a big KKR fan. So yeah, going ahead with that. He says, agreed that Naren didn't have good games and was 23 in 2 overs today. But you bowl Umesh Kajrolia, we say over him. Seriously great. So SP Roy isn't happy. But just to point out, before this game started, we did point out that, wow, KKR has so many bowling options. I think we counted 9? 8. And 7 of them bowled. So kudos. Other than the captain himself.
Although he could have bowled, he almost won them the game against Delhi Capital.
Could have. That's what I'm saying. So we counted 8 options and 7 bowled.
Yeah.
Other than the 8th option that we counted was that of Nitish Rana. He did not come out to bowl. But yeah, Sunil Narine did not bowl. And I don't know. What do you guys make of him not bowling his quota for over? I just would say the way Ajinkya Rahane was batting didn't matter.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think because the way both him and Shivam Dube were connecting, and especially the field dimension, especially the fact that somebody like Rahane in particular was looking at going over the bowler many a times, and he did hit those sixes right over the head of the bowler. Maybe that could have been one of the reasons why he didn't want to put in a spinner, and maybe that's why you saw the quicks bowl and not spinners.
By the way, Sunil Narine is opening the batting.
What?
I think Jason Roy, his tournament might be over because he pulled up, he was clutching his hamstring, he just kicked the side holding there thinking, oh god, I think I've again suffered a bad injury.
Oh.
When he was when he was about to stop the boundary there, you saw he immediately went off.
But I think this is strategic, and Jason Roy might still come. I tell you why. Because if it was a case of Jason Roy and they weren't too keen with someone like a Narine, they could have gone for the Venkatesh Iyer. But that the fact that they have not, I think this is very strategic. Because they're chasing a very big total and he's known to provide them with big starts, so they're saying, okay, let's lengthen our batting order, let's try something out.
It could be to counter Tikshana.
Yeah.
It could be. Because Tikshana is the guy who bowls maybe the 4th or the 5th over. If Narine hangs in till that time, he can go over the top and hit him. So maybe this is the occasion. A flat pitch, there's not many demons. 235, it will be like the CSK RCB game at Chinnaswamy.
Maybe. Vishal Panchal says, non-performing players end up performing for CSK. Rahul, that is KL Rahul, should move to CSK. Who knows, his strike rate might go up. Interesting thought, Vishal. I don't know about, whether this, and I'm not specifically talking about this, but I know that playing under MS does make you a better player. A lot of bowlers have said that.
True.
And you're right, we've seen it in the past that a lot of players did very well when they were playing for CSK. As soon as they moved out of CSK, they were not the same. So the only common connection you can really figure out is MSD. In fact, I remember saying that I also always think Shivam Dube had a lot of talent in him, but he was not really used very well by RCB and Rajasthan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so as soon as he went to CSK, I thought that was the right kind of chance he needed, because remember he played for India also.
Yes.
He did decently well, but just for some reason wasn't given a long role. So I did feel at the time that as soon as he's gone under MS Dhoni, he'd do well. The last season really didn't go according to plans. But look at MS Dhoni. Why did I say? Because again he started the season with him. Again he didn't have a great start. But this is something that MS Dhoni did. Clearly he had a chat with him. Don't worry. Your performance don't matter. We're going to be with you. You're going to back you up. And I think that I'm going to pull that tweet out of mine, because the day he went to CSK, I said, this is what Shivam Dube needs, to play under MS Dhoni. I'm happy that it's coming good, and I'm guessing more and more youngsters should play under him for the sake of Indian cricket.
Back the process.
Yeah. It does. I mean, it can't be a coincidence, is what I'm saying, that so many players end up doing well.
True.
So Akash Singh is the substitute impact sub. So Ambati Raidu is mostly...
As we had predicted.
Yep. Imagine Raidu didn't get a chance to bat. Subbed out. No, he
Quirks of the modern game.
He must be feeling what Rishi Dhawan might have felt, no, in some of the games. He didn't bat, he didn't bowl. What was the impact player?
Fielding?
He fielded.
I saw him yesterday, bringing the water.
But that's still better than, let's say, being a Prithvi Shaw, no, who either getting run out or doesn't get to open his account, goes to the middle of the page, gets
Really?
Social media is livid with Prithvi Shaw. All I see, I just go through my social media feed and see memes and jokes on Prithvi Shaw.
Yeah.
And I can't blame the people who are doing it, because really no performance.
Exactly.
And people also complaining, saying that he has all the time to put some Insta stories or whatever else he keeps putting, but no time.
There are other hashtags also that follow every time he goes viral. So
I know.
Are they worth mentioning on it? No. So let's skip it.
yeah.
Sharan says, I personally feel Simon Dool is right, maybe wrong against Virat, but he is absolutely right. Prime example, look at Rahane.
I mean...
Sharan's point could be right, that with Virat he may have given a wrong example.
Yeah,
but his point that players slow down to get a 50 is true, but his thing is, prime example is Rahane. Rahane is not
so. That's what
down.
I was confused. Today, well, I think, is it a wide? No. Good.
Swung late.
Yep. So Pradeep Srivalsan says,
No, just finish that point that he says, Rahane.
I don't agree with that at all.
Anybody?
Mike.
Because in two
Rahane is an prime example, or is he
Not
saying
at all.
Rahane is a prime example of someone who does not
Does not.
slow
I
down?
think that's what he meant.
That's what
Yes.
you must.
Then you're right. Then you're right. Because see, both the 50s that he's got, he didn't slow down at all.
Yes. I think he also got towards 50 with the boundary, and so did Shivam Dube. Both hit a 60.
Yeah, 44, he hit a 6 over long
yeah.
on. He tried to once again repeat the shot and got out.
Got out.
So
yeah.
that
Dube,
is
na?
gone.
The Narine experiment hasn't quite worked.
When it
No
ended
stump
in-
broken today though.
Yeah, but it ended in 2020 itself. See, Lin and Narine, they might wear this a solid duo, because Lin would counter attack. Sunil Narine needed spin at the other end, but that has not happened. So that is why Akash Singh.
Narine would hammer the pacers too, but what they really figured out with Narine was Today he got out to a moving ball, which is going to be tough for a slogger, which he is. But what fast bowlers actually picked up against Narine, he would, whenever it was in the slot,
he would just
would go for it, and more often than not he would connect. But bowlers later side realizing that to bowl a bit short to Narine, and then you can have him in trouble. As soon as they started doing the hard lengths against him, he started struggling, and that's why quickly KKR then went back to having him in the middle order. So I think that was the thing. But today also, as I said, see, these kind of experiments don't work. If we got a good, genuinely good swing bowler, then these pinch hitters, using that word, I don't know after how many years later, but it used to be a word used.
90s.
This is the first time I'm hearing
In fact,
Yeah, so you're a different generation.
really?
In our time, it was very cool.
In fact, just when I think at the mid-innings show or the pre-match show that we were doing, when we were talking about some of the batters, that's the word that I had in mind, pinch hitter. We probably
It's gone out of
fashion.
fashion or
What does it
circulation.
mean?
So pinch hitter in those days, it was a term that was coined in one-day cricket. When you would send like a dasher, like someone who's a lower order batsman, mostly a bowler, but who could really tonk sixes. So he would be sent at number 3, for example. Suddenly, like you lose an opener and you suddenly send it, because in those days batting order was so sacrosanct that they wouldn't change it quite often. You'd follow once in a while, very rare occasion you would send, like say India would send a Jawaharlal Srinath sometime at number 3, and he would use his long handle. Yeah, but Irfan was still looked as an all-rounder. So not really a pinch. Somebody like, somebody who was just a bowler, but could just swing at the ball and then hit sixes. Ashwin wouldn't have been a pitcher because Ashwin also caresses it.
He's
How do I say? I mean,
No,
like
no,
a
I
Shami
got
or
it.
a.
but Shami doesn't fit.
Bumrah.
He can clear the boundary.
Bumrah is an example.
But Bumrah
Well, look
doesn't-
at what he did a few times.
Yeah,
But,
but I'll say the pinch hitter was slightly better, but not an all-rounder.
Achha.
It's a very tough spot to be in. So that was used to, because also what had happened at that time, there were very defined roles for you. So either you're a batsman or a bowler or a pure all-rounder. You would only consider an all-rounder if you're an out-and-out all-rounder who would, fit into the team either as a batsman or a bowler. So they were not. I mean, this word has got a lot of negative connotation now. There were no bits and pieces sort of players. Now with the advent of T20, a lot of bits and pieces, as in people who can do a little bit of everything. So
I mean, if you have to look at the pinch hitting in 1996, Romesh Kalvitarana and Sanat Jais were actually pinch hitters to start with.
Yeah, they were, but they were also batsmen. Though it was an experiment, they were middle order batsmen that were pushed up the order. So in a way, you're right. Yep. But pinch hitter would typically be Srinath would be like a perfect. Sometimes they would send him in, and a few times it worked. So they weren't expected to give you a lot of run, but they would give you in those days a 20 ball 30, which was massive. So they would do like a 30, 31, 32 run, and if they did that, your job was done. So they've set up. They've taken you slightly ahead of the required rate, and required rate in those days were about 5 and over. 5 and over used to be tough.
Very tough.
Would
you call Robin Singh as a pinch hitter? Suppose.
Sometimes, you could. So Robin Singh would usually bat 6, 7.
Interesting name you've thrown.
But some days you will suddenly promote him to number 1 at number 3. Number 3 of 1 down.
Those 90s and 2000 cricket.
Very different. Cricket was very different.
Rather than the
80s was even more different.
Rather than the 90s, IPL, forget it. We had a tri-series or a quadrangular in Sharjah to look forward to. Every single year.
I mean, no greater knock than the Desert Storm since it's his birthday tomorrow. The great man.
2 Desert Storm knocks.
Back to back.
Though the one before the final was my favorite. Better than the final.
That was 134.
143.
And
143 was a final, wasn't it?
No, 143 was the Desert Storm. 134
was okay.
Oh man, dancing down the track to Shane Warne, round the wicket and launching him. Wow. That was
greatest.
What a time to be recalling the innings.
What a time to be alive.
That was the year.
Did you watch?
Oh, what a catch! That's man. Right up the alley for him. He got a good view of the ball, put in a full and
This was before you were born. But have you seen all of this later?
No.
Never.
Not at all.
And I was just born, let's say.
You should. Those are part of our...
growing
I
up.
was in college at the time. So part of our cricket crazy days where you find yourself now. It would be like... I mean, I can't compare anyone, but the Hobart knock that Virat played, which you would remember. You would, right?
Yes.
Hobart 2012.
2012.
No, but she would be very young at that
Yeah.
time. So also pretty.
Huh.
But it was also
12.
backed up
I
by
was 12.
excellent commentary. You would make those. I mean, Tony Gregg commentating.
I always say that Sachin Tendulkar
Tony
knock
Gregg.
was great. Partly credit needs to go to Tony Gregg. Outstanding piece of commentary. Outstanding. Gave you goosebumps.
What a player!
What a
What
player.
a wonderful. I remember one line that he said was where he hits Tom Moody, you'd know, as an
Moody.
SR.
Yes, of course.
So Tom Moody is bowling and he hits him for a 6, and the line that he said he's half his size and he smashed him for a Tom Moody being very tall.
Straight. It was straight.
Goosebumpy.
Wasn't Moody also commentating around the desert storm knock
no,
as
no.
well? No.
Moody was the bowler.
Bowler.
He smashes Moody for a 6.
He hit 2 sixes of
There was
Kasparovich.
one time I remember he was commentating, and again that also has, again that probably would have been then the early 2000s, then maybe around the World Cup perhaps then.
2003.
Three.
Then Storm,
Yeah.
Moody he smashes, Kasparovich he smashes.
smashed
No,
Fleming.
one is
Kasparovich got him out also. I think.
No, Fleming.
Fleming got him.
Fleming.
Correct.
He hit him for a 6, and then later on, and that was a dodgy decision, by the way.
It was.
It was done.
like before but he didn't outside. But it was outside
Yeah.
off stump. He
Who
tried to.
was that Pakistani umpire? Glasses. Akhtar, some Akhtar it was.
Yeah.
But man, that knock ensured that it would be folklore. And 1998 was the greatest year for Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
1,800 runs, 9 centuries. No one's even come close.
Yeah.
Man,
The greatest of all time. GOAT.
God.
So also the times that he played in. I can keep talking and Virat and Rohit Sharma fans will get upset. But the time that he played cricket in, it was very, very tough to get hundreds. Very, very tough.
And
Next to
look at
impossible.
the bowling attacks that he had to
And you didn't have
encounter.
to new
that
balls.
I'll-
You
that
didn't
I'll
have to
still
new
give
balls
credit.
then.
No, that's what I'm saying. The condition, I will still not go in the bowling attack because I'll tell you why. The reason I say is because we're looking at it in hindsight, and I'll give this much whenever we have an argument. I'd say that fine. You will look at a Wasim Akram, a Waqar Younis, a Glenn McGrath, a Shane Warne that he faced, great bowler. But I'm saying to give benefit of the doubt to the Virats and the Rohits of the world, we'd have to wait 10 years later because some of these bowlers also could end up as greats. So we don't know whether they're okayish bowlers, or we don't know whether the bowlers that are bowling in this generation could end up as outstanding bowlers for their
Also the
countries.
thing with these generational debates is,
Yeah. For example,
thing-
like a Broad and Anderson,
Exactly.
like a Dale Steyn.
Yeah,
So he's
Dale-
played.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
played them.
Also.
No, but even so has Virat and Rohit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then when you say that
It's the-
Virat didn't play the quality of bowlers, let's say that is Sachin, then you're discrediting, let's say, the likes of Broad and Anderson, Steyn, and the others.
The same
You
problem.
can't do that.
These guys you'll judge when they finish.
Yeah.
When they finish their careers.
Yes.
A Bolt or a
Some,
Cummins,
yeah.
or all of them. So we want to see when they finish, and then maybe we could say, okay, the quality of bowling was different, or a Nathan Lyon for that example.
Yeah.
Some of these people. So that I'll give credit for. But I'm saying the conditions were very tough.
Yeah.
Like you could. I mean, it was impossible to play with that one ball, which would get old. You can't. Nowadays, it's so easy for you to double your score after 25 overs.
Yep.
Those days it was impossible. The old ball was just impossible to hit. You couldn't spot it. I told you about that other thing that Sachin mentioned about not
Discoloration of the ball.
Discoloration is one.
Reverse
Softness is one.
swing.
No, he said the saliva.
Saliva,
They would
yeah.
make it so heavy and so soggy. He says no matter what you try and hit that ball for a 4.
Yeah.
Anybody try and hit that. At best, like you'll have to use like a lot of muscle, time the ball to perfection. Like has to hit the meat of the bat. Then probably it'll go to the boundary.
And that is why that
The
was.
game's so heavy.
Yeah.
Very heavy.
Well, that was one of the contributors also for his tennis elbow.
Yeah, because
That
of kind of muscle.
muscle everything.
It's not easy.
It isn't. And oh boy.
If
And
they had 2 new balls, if you remember those days, 50s they would reach very fast.
Yeah.
But then the journey from 50 to 100 became tough because then the ball would get old, discoloration, also reverse swinging.
Yeah.
Nowadays there's no time to reverse swing.
Now the ball is only gets 25 overs old now.
So that was the time when they started.
Wasim Waqar at the peak of their reverse swing prowess. And also, there was one more thing. See, the same thing. Bowlers, Gavaskar, Tendulkar, you can't compare. Gavaskar faced even better bowlers.
But that's what I'm saying. But in Gavaskar and Sachin today, you have that benefit of the bowlers having retired. So, for example, so Gavaskar, you'll say Michael Holding and Andy Roberts and whatever.
Gary Sobel,
Dennis Lilly or Jeff Thomson.
Richard
So you say
Hadley.
that great bowlers.
Yeah.
But same you can say for Sachin because he also had. So I'm saying for Virat, Rohit, maybe 10 years down the line, we'll see where these bowlers end up. And then you could also say that, you know what, Virat and Rohit played Anderson and Broad and Pat Cummins and
Mitchell
Nathan
Stark,
Lyon and
Josh
Mitchell
Hazelwood.
Stark. They would finish with some,
Yeah.
600 wickets. We don't know.
Oh boy, God turns 50 tomorrow.
Shaheen Afridi.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yes.
Could end up as one.
Yep. Anyway,
I mean, romantically, you would always
Let's
be like.
quickly take Pradeep
Srivalsan.
Pradeep Srivalsan.
Deeply miss Shane today. Not only bowlers, even Rahane and Dube play like superheroes with MSD. Jinx and Puji, guys with great character. Jinx better than Sky, Kohli, Rohit. KL, CSK's IPL.
He thinks CSK is IPL. I agree. It's all in praise of everything. Other than the point that he makes that.
Can you also select the color of your super chat because he's supporting CSK?
No.
Super chats also come in yellow.
I don't think you can.
I think it depends on the amount.
Then he knows the amount to go with on CSK playing days.
I think because I tried once, I think the lowest, 44 you can get blue.
Tried it on some other platform.
I tried it for CSK RCB, but then I said, no, I tried. I tried for that. Aditya Mohanty's been after me like for the past week.
Be nice.
Yeah. What did you say yesterday? Jadeja is not a T20 bat. I mean, I said, see, out of the three facets that Jadeja has, I will pick him primarily for his bowling and fielding. With the T20, since he's floating up and down the order, his batting, even in T20 eyes, has not set the stage on fire for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Here, see, 2 sixes he hit brilliant. I give him that credit. But again, 18 of 8, looking at the position, that's what I expect Jadeja to do. That's it. I don't expect a 50 or 100 every single time.
I'm not saying anything. We had enough of this.
I know.
Aditya Mohanty and Sidney were at it yesterday also.
Yep. So the last...
Let Gargi take this
Yeah.
one. What Mr.
Okay.
Shekhar is saying.
Mr. Shekhar is saying Jinx, Puji have been a great servant after Rohit and VK. Then there is a certified choker KL who never solidified even after 9 years of incessant backing.
Hey, Mr. Shekhar must really hate KL Rahul. He just wastes so much money on KL.
Why down?
But it's, but in a way you're right because of course I agree with you that KL, the kind of backing that he's got, he should have done better. But I think like with everyone, somebody gets a long rope, somebody the patience level are very less with them. I think he's the former. He's been lucky that he's got a long rope. But I guess the way he's continuing, I think knives are already out, and may not that long rope maybe towards the end now. So.
I mean, I can only remember a similar player who got this much of flack at that time. Social media had not proliferated. The guy playing in CSK, Ravindra Jadeja. Remember from 2009 till about 2012-13.
I was there. In fact, I'll be very candid. I was there at that 2009 T20 World Cup in England. That game versus England, if I'm
25
not
or
mistaken.
35. That
Yeah, and that was a must-win game for India. Otherwise, they would be knocked out in round 1. And they lost the game because I was at Lord's covering that game. I never forget it because he just couldn't get back to ball, and there was a time where he really needed to up the run rate for having India in a chance. India lost that game and were knocked out round 1.
Yep.
And this is a team that came to this World Cup as defending champions.
Yes.
2007 winners came as defending champions. And so at that time, I'll be very honest, I saw that, and I think I must have said it in my reports as well, that I don't think he has a future, at least in the shorter format of the game, because here's a guy who's a bit of a okayish bowler, quickish, so he's not ever going to pick too many wickets. He needs to have a good batting skill, which just doesn't seem to be there. Just like Sidhu was once called the strokeless wonder. He was quite obviously like that at the time. So I'd be very honest, even I thought, but you'd have to say that his batting took a long time to mature.
From 2013 onwards, it matured.
Yeah, gradually. But I think what he's been able to do in the last 3 years or so, about from 18 onwards, that's just been another level.
Even 17 Champions Trophy, let's say, it's sort of began since then.
Yeah, that's
One
what I'm
can
saying.
say
The last few
13,
years.
13 Champions Trophy.
No, that was one level he went where you could then rely with him in the back. But then what he did from whatever 18 or onward, like 2019 World Cup when he was playing, you had full faith that he can win. So he reached even the next level, like a proper batsman. So credit to him, yeah.
And you have to also credit the man who's leading CSK, Dhoni. He backed him to the hilt.
Yeah. I think Jadeja and Ashwin
Yeah.
at that point.
Ashwin, I'm not very sure. We'll have to
Because
interview Ashwin
Ashwin,
one
I
day.
remember Ashwin used to do a lot of interviews where he would credit MS Dhoni for backing him when he wasn't doing well.
No, because I just remember a lot of games where Ashwin would get a single over also in a match. So he would play a match, wouldn't get a single over, and then he was let go by CSK. So
And we also remember times where he was given 4 overs most recently and didn't end up picking wickets.
no, I'm talking about CSK.
No, I'm
She's
just
talking
saying,
about Dhoni.
Ashwin seen it all, no? He was given 4 overs
Well, it's
also.
fine. Everyone will have ups and downs, but just CSK specific.
Yeah, I shouldn't be saying this, he'll double block me or something.
Oh yeah, Ashwin can't search Ashwin.
Oh, you've been.
He can't.
Really? I need to know the story now.
Yeah. But he also has no idea
I have zero idea.
how it happened.
It just happened.
Maybe it's a mistake.
Did you,
It has to be that.
or did you comment or something?
No, but he got blocked even before joining Sports Today.
No.
No?
I came to realize once I joined for one of the stories I was doing, I needed
He had
to.
to search for him.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't.
And it happened twice. The first I was like, okay, some mistake in this thing. Maybe it's a phone bug or something. I asked somebody around to please open it on this thing. I couldn't open it on my phone. The following day again, I had to do a story on that and again he wasn't there. And it was that same bug who said, सर आपके ना फोन में आपको ब्लॉक कर दिया लग रहा
I
है.
remember when you showed it to me also. I said I can't be. I said, it
Wear it
was.
as a badge of honor, man. Wear it as a badge
Not a
of
bad
honor. Okay, so 24 for 2.
Shivam is checking that he's not. You're good.
Even I'm also
So be careful. Gagi, so you now you know Ravi Ashwin watches the show very regularly.
I think it's something. Yeah.
Yep.
But talking about players, he's back. I'm going to give you, like, for example, you had Mukesh Chaudhary.
Yeah.
He got injured and he's found an Akash
Akash Singh.
and doing exactly that. So
He is doing great for Sri Lankan cricket by grooming Patirana. They are already
And
calling.
Tikshana.
Yeah, they calling. You know this better. They're calling Podi Malinga. That's Junior Malinga. I think that.
Podi is
roughly-
junior.
I don't know about that. I have to check.
That's why
in.
You don't know Tamil?
I know Tamil, but is it in Tamil or Sinhala?
I read on the. I think it's called Podi
I'll check
Malinga,
it.
which is Junior Malinga, roughly or loosely
I don't know.
translated.
I'll have to check that.
CSK fans will coin as CS Tamil.
No, I think his nickname was given in Sri Lanka itself, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Maybe
I'm not sure. I was.
I'll check. I can check. I can check if that's the case.
Chinna Malinga.
Chinna Malinga.
That much even I know.
Kutti Malinga.
Kutti Malinga also.
Yeah. Because Raina was called Kutti Singham.
Good to see.
No, he was called Chinnathala also.
Chinnathala and Kutti Singham. There was a lot of names. Right now, this group is called the Anbudan, the Pride.
Oh my God.
Lions.
The pride of Lions.
Lions,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Pride. Anbudan.
There is no Chinnathala right now.
Only one.
No, he's a legend, IPL legend.
Yes, that he is.
He was the guy responsible for CSK being so dominant in the very beginning.
Yes.
Without doubt.
Yep. Okay, so 24 for 2 in 4 overs. So far, CSK bowlers have done well.
I'm not even going to ask for anybody's prediction because all of us had picked CSK before this game started. And I doubt anyone is going to make any changes to their prediction.
But Nobita wants to know your margin, as in what do you think KKR's losing margin will be?
Oh, losing out. That's a tough one. I'll go with 50 runs.
That big of a margin.
20 runs.
Ah,
Achha, all of us have to.
20 runs.
Okay.
You're backing them to score 200 runs.
Yeah. I think they bat very deep.
They're 24 for 2, right now. I'll go with a 65 run loss.
I don't know why, but I feel like it will be around 30, 36.
So we've covered like almost
12 runs.
12, Shivam.
12 runs.
Not
12
two.
runs. Okay. Last over में.
Can happen. Anything can
Who
happen.
knows if it's Russell's game?
That's why.
could
That's
be.
why.
If the Eden faithful has been waiting for him to fire anyway.
Yep. That's why.
You will be right.
Yep. Okay, so we'll.
Aditya was not after you. He said, Sid, I love you.
But he's wrong on that. I don't hate Dhoni.
Yeah.
Hate is a strong word.
I actually love you. That's why I asked.
What is my stature to hate or love a player? I mean, I'm just a
Exactly.
normal individual. Dhoni's achievements, whatever he has, I can't even do 0.1% of what he's done. So there is no question of hate or love. I just look at it, I criticize or I love him. That's it.
Varun Parvataneni has picked 42. Pradeep Shivalsan has picked 90.
Oh.
Nobita Novi 95.
95 for Nobita Novi. Good prediction,
Okay.
guys. We'll see you
Yep.
now. End of the game.
Yes.
15 more overs to go. Bye, guys.
Yep.
See you.
See you. Bye bye.